can smell it. So open those eyes and get the big picture. It's hard to tell it. Seems like a lot of people want to say something these days. Now here's a story I never knew. Happened in April. And I just stumbled upon it. I only found it on this one website, Yahoo Shine Candidate. Moms in uproar over Banana Girl and TANNYRAW online diet gurus. There's Tanny. YouTube temporarily suspended TANNYRAW. See, I did not know this. This was following a steady pelting of complaints by anti-eating disorder activists. Her channel came back real fast, which means a lot of the complaints were not valid. And who were making all these complaints all of a sudden? Leave your guesses below. And while the channel was down for only a few hours, touched off a social media dust-up, which means a lot of jerks saying crazy stuff about responsibility and blame. There's always someone else you can blame, yes. Regarding young, susceptible women, eating disorders, and those spouting hyperbole alert diet advice, including TANNYRAW, and YouTube star who calls herself freely the Banana Girl. Would you say a little bit of sexism here? And also they're going after two people who were female. Why don't they go after me? What about me? I feel like I'm being segregated here. What about Dan McDonald and Michael Arnstein? Those people are pretty skinny. What about me? You know, Dan's hurt a lot of people. Just check out his comments. Local group of 15 critics. We got thousands on our side. Mothers Against Eating Disorders took issue with what they call TANNYRAW's dangerous approach. Yeah. They say she told this happened in the comments, not really counseled a young girl. We don't really know who's who on the internet unless they show their face. The only ones doing that is us. Supposedly, I haven't seen this, I couldn't find the proof, that Tanny told someone to refuse treatment for her eating disorder. Now, when I first heard about this story, my first reaction was to attack these people and set them straight. But I would have to agree with anorexia is a mental disorder. So they got their point there. And that's how this all started. But that's where their points end. That's what I want to talk about in this video. Of course, otherwise there's no point in making a video about this. That's unethical, maybe so, and dangerous. Tanya, whose last name is unknown, gotta stop. Make another comment here. One of these mothers used her last name on the internet. I think it's somewhere, I don't want to say where it is, because they sent stuff to her place of work. The stuff that shows what she's doing on the internet. Now you might see why my first reaction was emotional and wanting to attack. Yeah. I'm over that now. Tanny's fans seem to be devoted with a cult-like allegiance. And they give some half-assed examples of just normal comments, saying that to just people who believe in something they don't, just like the way people treat vegans. It is bigotry. Others created their own YouTube videos in which they defend her honor. What a bunch of psychos. What possesses people to do that? This is just reminding me of how they malign black people in places in the media for getting angry when people say certain things, take away their right to vote and stuff like that. And they say, see, see these people, that's bigotry. Same thing as racism and sexism, they all go.
TANNYRAW recently got her YouTube suspended under the claims that she was promoting an eating disorder. Even as someone who once struggled with an eating disorder, I've come to realize that the root of anorexia and bulimia is a belief. And this belief is that if you are thin, you are more valuable as a human. Now, when someone tries to challenge that belief, they shouldn't be attacked and villainized as anti-treatment hellions. Mothers Against Eating Disorders, I have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for you all. But it's time you spend less of your energy on attacking vegans and focus more of your efforts on deconstructing that belief. Now, the whole orthorexia nervosa diagnosis, which was mentioned in that article if you want to look it up, smells like BS and another ploy to put money in doctors' pockets. But on the topic of raw veganism, it's really time to retire the dogma. No, the diet does not consist solely.
In the comments to this video, we once again find Sue. In response to Tanny, please spend half hour researching data on eating disorders and how 13% of people are susceptible to this biological brain disorder. I agree so far. On the other hand, I have to say, not all anorexics are the same. There's many different reasons why someone would restrict their calories. Maybe people are diagnosed as anorexics who are not. 15% of people are susceptible to this biological brain disorder brought on by restricting diets and weight loss. Not ours. That could happen. But a point I want to make here is the high fruit, high raw vegan diet is not a restricting diet. It is not a diet. It's the natural way to eat. And as for restricting, well, there's that subjective mindset. That person's not being scientific. Well, of course not. She's not a scientist. She's not a professional. She's a mother who's probably fat. We don't have a picture of her. And weight loss. Again, the diet isn't about weight loss, but I can see why some people would get confused. Freely has been focusing on weight loss. She's not trying to get people into an anorexic mindset. She's finding people who already are in that mindset. They're already sick. And she's showing them that you do not have to battle with food. Who knows what the experts, the anorexic experts, are teaching them. I have no idea. But I could imagine Because the mainstream teaches, don't eat too much. You gotta watch this, and you gotta watch that, and you gotta watch everything. And that's not the right way to view food. It's not reality. Animals don't do that. These people have also posted some link trying to, the link tries to say that fruitarianism causes problems. It does not. At least not our version. One that includes cooked foods and grains. So you can see that they're not really just against what Tanya said to that person. They're also against veganism. It always comes back to that. That's subjective. That's intolerance. That's bigotry. That is unscientific and ignorant. This diet is not harming anorexics. The damage is already done. They're already anorexic. Either this diet will help them or it won't. But I do agree they should not quit their therapy. They do need mental help. At least some of them. Continuing, please post a disclaimer that you are not health professionals. I am. The official definition of professional means that you make money. But that's not what most people mean. They mean indoctrinated and accepted by our society, which is, our society is crazy. So, that's a form of bigotry right there. They're saying, if society doesn't accept you, then you should take off. You should get out, back of the bus, where we can't see you. Sound familiar? It's the same thing. It's prejudice. It's not accepting something you don't understand. Here's something I found where Sue is completely off and does not understand. No one is saying you shouldn't make choices in your life, but what is appalling to her is that these type of diet, see, it's all about, she doesn't understand the diet, based on restricting and weight loss. No, it's not. She simply doesn't understand. It's based on eating right. There's people out there that recommend restricting your drugs, cocaine, heroin. Well, that reminds me, I heard someone who was pro-heroin on the radio. He was making his case for that. Anyway, heroin, cocaine shouldn't exist. They're not natural things. They're dangerous. They should be restricted. They should be more than restricted. They shouldn't exist. You should not take them. We're not restricting meat. We're not eating it because it's not for human beings. You'll lose weight because it's healthy. If there's people, there's people out there that will do it just to get really thin. Well, those are the anorexics. Anorexics come into the diet. The diet doesn't create anorexics. You happen to get really thin. I was just thinking this morning, I'm sure Harley doesn't want to look like he describes himself as a crack addict that just got out of a concentration camp. Men don't want to look like that. That's simply what you end up looking like when you eat right and you're an elite athlete. The people posting and promoting this lifestyle are not healthcare professionals. Be careful. Well, it's always good to be careful. But some of us are healthcare professionals. Doug Graham he started this high fruit thing. He is a healthcare professional. Yeah, he makes a lot of money. He's been in this business for 30 years. This is how he's made his living. He's a professional. He's written books. He's given lectures. He does have a doctorate, a PhD, I think, or something. Anyway, he's had a lot of formal training. He came up with this diet. What? No, he didn't make it up. He repackaged it in the best way it's ever been repackaged. The natural way. For anyone who wants to eat natural. That's it. This diet does not lack anything. We passed this years ago. But some people are never getting past it. These people are new to this, so they don't understand. Moving on. Response to Sue, it is alarming that many of us cured eating disorders with veganism, and instead of getting support, you all want to hang us for finding help. That's an interesting term. Which one? This is like the 10th person I've heard tell these people they've been cured by this diet. Once they're on this diet, the problem doesn't exist anymore, at least in their case. What's the problem? Not true. Calling everyone a liar. What mothers and others are asking is that seeing as promoting this lifestyle can be dangerous to some suffering with ED. If they're suffering with ED, they're already in the danger zone. But up here, well, no, down here, you see a different, she speaks a different tune. Your defensive attitude is very common in the extreme vegan world. Oh, all we're asking is that it can be dangerous for people with this mental condition. Extreme vegan. Well, the people suffering with ED are at the risk of developing one. All we're asking. Extreme vegan world. Wonder why? She just gave herself away. If we hadn't figured it out yet, she's just another anti-vegan. And saying it's because of her extreme diet. The diet that is a minority, the uncommon diet, easy to attack. And this is human nature. When something is not common, not a place with the norm of society. Let's look up some words. One word that I found. Definition of bigotry is intolerance towards those who hold different opinions from yourself. Intolerance towards people that are different, that speak in a different language, who look different, who have a different skin color, different gender, different height. Yes, there's bigotry against people of different heights, a different style of dress, different from yourself, different from the norm, different way of eating than everyone else. Synonyms: of bigotry, bias, discrimination, fanaticism, that's a strange one, but injustice, it's definitely the case. When people act like this, they're acting unscientifically, and it's dogma, it's bias, it's narrow-mindedness, it's non-understanding, like not understanding different cultures, different religions, halfway around the world, where people act and talk differently doesn't make it bad. And people have different ways of killing each other, but that doesn't make them, well, so much worse than the way we do it. You know, the way we do things is always better. Like in Arizona, they strap the person to a bed and inject them with almost enough poison to kill them, but it gives them a heart attack, and then they don't die. That's better. Other adjectives related to these people. Bigoted, hidebound. Well, that would make a good response. Cross. Yeah, they definitely sounded cross. Hard case. Hard case. Inert. Imperviously hidebound. Dogmatic. To refine this sentence down, you're defensive. Wonder why? I don't wonder why. Maybe it's because of calling the person extreme. And over and over again, the person will not listen. Do you think these moms are acting out of a shared mental illness? At least one of them admitted to having one. They correctly state this anorexia is a mental illness. A lot of these people are mentally ill. So maybe they shouldn't be the ones to do the persecuting. It's sad. I hope they get some fruit in them. I hope they get some fruit to cheer them all up.